Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the crazy poppy lady, and I'd like to welcome you all back to this week's Whips, Bits and Chat. Apologies, that was my washing machine. I'm trying to get everything done today. It's not happening. Not happening at all. Oh, and by the way, wet hair, best way to stay cool. I've dunked it 3 times already today. Right, just a little explanation. At the moment it is sitting at 32 degrees with no wind where I am in the UK, and so of course it's feeling quite claustrophobic and quite hot. I'd rather be over in Australia at Christmas with the summer, because although it hit 42 when I went over last, they had wind. The only wind we've got here is the dog's bum. Right, so now I've had a little bit of a mad 5 seconds. Honestly, it's not sunstroke, it's just me. Let's get on with the video roundup for this week. Right, so this week's first video up is titled what do you call it? Okay, it's a little bit of a break from the norm for me. It's a non-crochet related. It is just a bit of a laugh and a giggle, because of course some of us do call things different things in different countries, but it's the same thing and gets really confusing. And so of course that one, the link is up here for you. The next video was the Big and Little Crochet Collective, and now that is the last book out of that set, and now I'm starting to think, oh, what am I going to put in its place? I need to go book shopping again, don't I? That's really worrying, but needs must. Right, and then our next video up was the Throwback Friday number 28. I hope you enjoyed that one. I was taking you back to October 2020 with those videos, so we're slowly getting closer to this year, but we're not quite there yet. But when we do, you'll soon know, because I'll be like, what else am I going to do now? Right, and then of course we had our lives. I was really lucky. We had a really gorgeous group of girls in on both days that were very interactive, and it was really lovely. One is called Do You Have a Superpower, and that was the PM live on Tuesday night. And then I was being a sarcastic snotbag and said, Oz, would you like your weather back on Wednesday morning, because that's the sort of time when the Aussie girls are available to come and say hello. So that was those 2 lives for this week, and I intend to keep the same times for this coming week as well. So it'll be Tuesday evenings at around 7 o'clock GMT, and a Wednesday at around 11 AM GMT. Right, so what else have I been up to? I don't know. Actually, before we get started, it would be really lovely if this week you could not only hit the bell sorry, and select all, but also make sure you're still subscribed to the channel and give me a bit of a thumbs up, because it has been really quiet for me this week on YouTube. I think you're all sunbathing or just hiding. I'm not sure which one. Oops, the rabbit just ran away, but don't worry, the unicorn pillow is still here. I will tell you about them in a few minutes. It's a reminder of some old videos. But yeah, I will tell you about those and link to them up the top in a little bit. Oh, wind is coming through and it's cold. I'm sorry, right, back to it. So what have I been up to this week? Apart from the normal stuff for family, there's not really been a lot in the world of crochet for me. Yes, I have carried on making the corner to corner blanket, but I'm having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to take Liam for a walk around the estate, so that he can feel like he's had some exercise before the temperatures kick up and he can't do. So there's me walking around the estate barefooted at 5:30 in the morning. I am getting some strange looks, but they all know how much of a lunatic I am, so it's fine. And if it's anybody new, they soon get informed that I am a raving lunatic, and then they're fine as well. So of course I'm taking him out at like 5 in the morning, and then I'm coming into here and getting as many rows as I can get done and filmed before about 10 o'clock, because by 10 o'clock this room turns into a sauna. So that's been my routine, and then I go off and I do the housework and all that other boring stuff, and then in the evenings I get to play with my project that I'm working on at the moment, which is a shawl, and it is my own pattern, and I'm very impressed with how this pattern's coming out. I'm blowing my own horn a little bit here, but really impressed. Got it visually in my head how I want it to look, and it has done that, and it looks how I want it to look. I ran out of yarn. I've only just completed the second repeat, and it's about that big. So I'm gonna have to order more yarn. I've got to remember where I got it from and hope they've got some in still. So yeah, so I can match it up and carry on going. I did put a border on it just on the off chance to see what it looked like, and it looks good. But it's made for somebody that's probably about 6, if that. It's definitely not big enough for me to go anything more than about here on. So yeah, a bit short. So of course it's gonna be a whip for a while until I get the yarn in, and then I can carry it on and move it on. But I know I can write the pattern up, I just can't add the pictures yet. So if any of you crazies are up for making it as well, I am looking for a pattern tester, just the one, and they're gonna need ideally I'm actually making mine with what is it, 3 weight, 4 weight? I'm making it with the papaya. Oh, sorry, wrong colour ball, mind. I'm making mine with the papaya cakes, which are the same as the mandala ones. So you can make them, if you can get your hands on the mandala, and say 3 balls, I think would make a really nice long one. So if you are up for being a tester for me, and give me a message or an email. I just need the one of you though, so it'd be really nice to see some of your previous work if you haven't already got a channel. If you have, come on, share the love. Right, on to the next item. So a little bit more information on the cow for next month. Fingers crossed it gets done. Right, I am now up to row of 55 of 80, I've lost it again, 87. But to be honest, these rows are speeding along lovely, and I would have been a lot further along if I'd paid attention to the pattern. And at row 52, was it? No, row 51, I hadn't put a block in the wrong spot. So yesterday I had to strip back an entire day's worth of filming and restart it, which is why it's further back than what I was hoping. I was hoping to have finished the video number 3 by now, but I haven't started it again today, so I really need to get a couple of rows under my belt before the temp picks up. It's due to be 32, I think, or something like that, but we've got a bit of wind occasionally, which is nice. Yeah, so once that is done, as I said, I will actually be showing it off to you. I'm going to be popping up to a shop and trying to get my hands on a canvas, a cheap canvas. I'm not too bothered what it looks like. I just need a cheap canvas that's going to be big enough to pin this to, because my daughter of course has got an art easel, an easel, so I can put the canvas on the easel and I can have it here, so, or maybe over here. I don't quite know yet, I haven't quite worked it out, but I can have the easel up so that you can have a proper look at it during the whips and bits once I've finished the work, because that's where I'll show it. I'll be showing it off on a whips and bits and telling you all about it and telling you what you'd need so that you can run off and get the yarn if you need to, if you fancy it, that is. I must admit, he is cute, and that is all I'm giving you. Sorry, and no pictures today, because it will give it away and I don't want to spoil it now. Right, so now that little extra bit of info that I was going to tell you about. Now, of course, my old subscribers are gonna know this girl, sorry, gonna know her, because they'd have seen her in the back of most of my videos before I moved downstairs. But this is a little bit of a refresh for any of my newer crazies that have come to visit in the last couple of months and are staying around. Now, this is a unicorn pillow, okay, and it is called a giant unicorn pillow cow, and it is a 4-part series, okay, and I will pop a link up here to video number 1. Each of the videos are linked to the next. Okay, it looks really difficult, doesn't it? But if you can make a hat, you can make this. Because this is basically the same sort of style as increasing, when you increase a hat. Okay, it's the same style, just on a larger scale. That is it. And if you can chain and work into a chain, that's how you make the curly hair. And if you can do single crochet and work in the round, that's how you do the horn. It's a really, really simple. The only bit that might be, you might find a bit fiddly, is the ears, because these are 2 parts that are then sewn, worked together to form the ear. Okay, so you make 2 separate parts, one being pink or one being white, attach them together, and that's what makes the ear. So other than that, that's it. It's a bit of a shame you can't quite see her makeup that she's got on. And the reason she is not quite as rounded as yours would be is because I only had a square pillow to stuff it with, because she was made during the UK's first lockdown. And as I said, the only the only pillow I had was square. So what I actually did was cut the corner, pulled out some of the stuffing and put that in a bag for later, and moved the stuffing all around so that I'd taken the bulk out of the corners, so it wasn't a perfectly round, which is why she has got a bit of a cheeky chin on her, because this section down here, I didn't pull out enough stuffing. But other than that, that is the cheeky unicorn. And I thought, you know what, because I'd moved rooms, normally you would get to see all of the projects sitting behind me on the bed, whereas now you can't. So I thought, well, I might as well show you that one and tell you that it is the giant unicorn pillow cow, and it is #03. Okay, so what I'm going to do next week is I might show you #04. Might do, might not. It depends on if that's what you're interested in. If you want to jump ahead and see all of the patterns that are actually on the channel, there is, I believe, 15 now. They're not small projects, mind. But if you want to see them, they will be shown on the end screen. There will be a link there to all the patterns. Liam, coming up. Come on then. Hop. Hello. Gonna say hello to your fans. Liam, look that way. No, not at the yarn. Look at the computer. Oh, you snot bug. You're a snot bug. I just wanted to pop in and say hello. Wait, where are you going? You can't stay on my lap. You're gonna superheat up. You already are, aren't you? Huffing and puffing. Alright, come on. Down you get then. Go on. Go get your juice or go and chill. On your cold mat then. Bless him. He just had to say hello once every blue moon, because he can't fit on my lap anymore. And definitely not in this heat. You might hear him whinging under the table. At least I hope it's a whinge that comes out of him and not a Bye. Off he goes. Oh, it's been a bit of a busy week actually. I forgot it was my dad's birthday. I didn't actually forget it was his birthday. I just forgot this moment in time that it was his birthday earlier on in the week. He hit he hit a big number. He refuses to admit what the number is. If that doesn't make him sound old, I don't know what does. But happy birthday, Dad. I'll say it again, just on the off chance you're watching this, which you won't be. But yes, it was his birthday. Now, we had planned to pop down to Southend in Essex, where he is, which is about 3.5 hours drive, if the drive's okay, and there's no other traffic. Otherwise, you're looking at between 3.5 to 6 hours, depending. Because you've got to get round the M25 car park. So all of Monday I was trying to phone me mum. No answer. This is normal, by the way. All of Tuesday there was umpteen messages left on the answer machine, and a text sent saying, "Mum, are you about?" I did get a response to that. "Yes, I'm about. I will phone you in 20. There was another text underneath. "Mum, it's been 3 hours. Shall I phone you?" "Sorry, babe, I'm a bit busy. I'll phone you tomorrow." And this went on all flipping week. So on my dad's birthday, which was Thursday, finally managed to get through in the evening and have them pick up the phone, so that we got to wish my dad a happy birthday and everything else, although we would have actually been travelling down on Thursday, but we didn't. Yeah, we didn't travel down on Thursday because I hadn't managed to get hold of my mum to find out if my dad was actually working or not, or if they already had plans, because it's a heck of a long way to travel to find that no one's in. But hey ho, so happy, but I hope you had a lovely birthday, Dad. And once all the rest of the family stuff is over with, this next coming 3 to 4 weeks, we'll hopefully be able to tie you down and get you out for that birthday meal later on in August. Oh, there was a little bit of local excitement on Wednesday. My neighbours knocked on my door. Well, one of their daughters did actually, knocked on the door about 7:30 at night and said, Ange, well, they were talking to Mr. Crazy, and they were like, we know you're good with animals. We've found a cat and we think it's been hit by a car. Can you come and help us? So he's gone jumping out and off he's gone, as I've got up, grabbed the cat basket and followed suit, because they're only a couple of doors away, and the cat was on their driveway. And Mum and Dad had gone off to do a food shop, so I hadn't seen it on the way out. So we've gone over, and this poor it was a beautiful cat, a little ginger Tom. I shouldn't say was, he is a beautiful cat, so he's okay, he's fine. He was laying on the floor and he was shaking quite violently, and the girls had thought he'd fallen off of the fence. And they weren't sure why he was shaking, which is why they thought he might have been hit, because it looked like he was quite stressed. So my husband had been standing there stroking him for a few moments, and then I took over, you know, the whole tickle him on the top of their forehead thing like Mummy used to do when they were kittens. And so I was doing that as I set out the towel to roll him onto, to then put him into the basket. So I've gone to put him in the basket, and he wouldn't fit. His bottom was too long to fit in my carrier, so his tail was hanging out, and he's stopped shaking and he's calmed down, which was really good, and this tail was just wiggling. So we've carried him down my road, because I knew that there was a lady that has a tomcat, and a ginger tom basically, that lives just a couple of doors up. So I've got so far, and I've knocked on one door to double check, because they've got cats, check it wasn't a new one for them, and my husband knocked next door to them and to see if it was theirs. So the lass has come out and she's checked, and she's like, he looks like my cat. She's gone to lift him up, and this cat weighed some. She's got, he's too heavy to be mine. Have you put anything on Facebook yet? I'm like, we've only just scooped him up. I'm going to take him into the garden, and then I'll take some photographs where I know he's safe and secure, and I can put them up on Facebook. So by the time I got into the garden and posted this post up about the cat on our local Facebook group, she's fired me over a message and gone, could it be this cat? So at that, she's come speeding back out again before I've had a chance to answer it, because of course I'm still sitting with the cat, who's laying quite still in the box, although the lid is off. He was laying quite still and just happily being pampered, like being stroked, but nothing else. So she was talking to my husband. My husband had made the phone call to the lady, as I've stuck up on Facebook. I'd seen the post. I responded to the post about this missing cat, saying, I think I've got your cat, and I've put a picture up of him. So by this point, the lady is coming round to pick up her cat, and my husband had come into the garden with a piece of ham, and we decided to give him a little bit of ham, because we still couldn't see his face. He wasn't really lifting his head. So as soon as this ham came out, though, crikey, did that cat's head come up quick, and he's wolfed it down, and then all of a sudden he's just stood up, climbed out of the carry case. It's just a leg over, nothing, it's not a high sided one or anything. Went straight over to the water bowl that we'd put down for him, and lapped up some of that, and then gone for a little walk. And so I'm watching him walk. He was a little unsteady, and his back leg looked like it was hurting him a little bit, but it didn't look untoward. It didn't look like he was struggling to walk. It looked like it was a normal walk for him, which I thought was a bit strange. And then he just come straight back to us and sat behind me in the shade. So it was really sweet, and I thought, okay, as he's walking around, I'm looking at him, and I realised that there's no no damage I could see on him really. He looked a bit unkept, not majorly though, just a little bit, as if he'd been running around for a few days. Like this, the ad had said, the ad said he was old, and he was on medication, but it didn't say what the medication was for. And so I was looking at him and I'm thinking, well, the age that they're saying he is, that fits with how my cat looked back then. She was a bit doddery, because I had a cat before Pip. My old cat, she was a bit doddery on her back end, like this one was. And the places where his fur weren't as well maintained, so to speak, were in the same areas that my cats were. So I'm like, right, okay, it's definitely the old guy. And yeah, it turned out when the owner got here, it turned out that he suffers with epilepsy, and what the girls had seen was him having a seizure, because he'd been missing for over 48 hours, so he hadn't had his meds. So he was having a seizure, and of course, as he's come round, he's quiet, and as soon as you feed him, it wakes him up. So yeah, we were really lucky that he wasn't an RTA victim. He was, luckily it was a seizure and nothing more serious, which I know it sounds a bit strange me saying a seizure not serious, but I'm used to working with adults that had seizures, so to me a seizure is normal, or at least it's normal for the cat. But yeah, we've been updated since, and he was taken to the vets. The vet said there's nothing wrong with him, just bung him back on his meds basically, and he appears to have enjoyed his little adventure. Liam wasn't too chuffed, and nor was Pip, because they got locked in the house while he was here, because we didn't want them aggravating him. We wanted him to be kept quiet and calm. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous cat, and I have a feeling he might sneak back this way, seeing as we fed him ham. Don't feed other people's cats, otherwise you never manage to get rid of them. So in total, I think he stayed with us for about an hour, which I think is amazing really. The power of Facebook and the power of spreading positive. The messages that have gone on to that post since are absolutely beautiful. Lots of people saying how nice we were to do it, whereas as far as we see it, because we're animal lovers ourselves, we took him in because we would hope that someone would do that if it was one of ours. Now I know for a fact, my old cat, she was a sneaky little monkey. She used to jump the fence when she was able to, and go and spend a weekend at a neighbour's house. He thought she was a stray until I knocked on his door and said, "Can I have my cat back?" And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, but she is mine. I've had her," at this point she'd been with us for 16 years and had moved around with us, and she would always find another house to visit. Wherever we lived, there was always another house that she would go and say hello to the people and try and keep on their beds for a bit of quiet time, because of course I had the girls and they were a lot louder back then. But yeah, she was a sneaky bug, and I think this one is a cheeky one as well. But yeah, it's lovely. And Facebook, thank you, because it would have taken forever to find the owner, or I would have had him overnight and had to take him to the vets the following day. Right, that's all I've got to really chat about today. Thank you ever so much for coming in and watching, and I will see you all again next Sunday for the next episode of Whips, Bits and Chat. So don't forget, I'm also going to be live on a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock GMT, and of course 11 AM on Wednesday, GMT mind. So I will see you all really soon. If you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.